Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2. Hey there, hi there, ho there. This is RHJunior, RHJunior Reality Check coming to you live over the internet through the system of tubes, the boob tube known as YouTube, bringing you yet another broadcast of my lively little show. Why am I doing it? I don't know, but we call it Spleen Squeezins. It's another lovely, what day of the week is it? Friday! Alright. I'm all on Twitter. Oh my. Let's see here, what we got here, what are we doing? Let's see here. Okay, enough of the opening music. Yeah. Then we switch over to our Monster Fluff music channel. How exciting! I have no idea how loud this is coming through, so this is no copyright sounds, dubstep, trap, EDM, electro channel, gaming music radio by Monster Fluff Music. This is the third night in a row I've used these guys because they're the only guys I can find. If I could find some more mellow stuff, maybe I'd use it, but I can't. So don't. So we won't. Here we go. Hooray! Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. Oh, let's see. What's big in the news? Facebook. Let's see what's on the Facebook news feed. Why Facebook? Why not anything else? It's not like I'm going to tune into CNN for impartial news. Okay. I've basically sadly learned that I've lost my taste for pizza. I don't enjoy pizza anymore. It's, okay, it's bearable. In fact, it's more often than not, depending on the circumstances, it can be unpleasant to eat now. I used to love pizza. I just barf. But now, nothing. Pay nothing out of pocket to go solar. You just pay it all later. I love that. I love those little stories. You pay nothing out of pocket. No. Border Patrol. Let's see. Border Patrol apprehended a group of 1,036 migrants, otherwise known as illegals. The word we're looking for is illegals. Crossing the border on Wednesday, west of the Bridge of the Americas. Single largest group ever. We've literally got entire small towns invading our country illegally to commit crimes here. Look, if you cross over into this country, I don't care, if you cross over into this country illegally to get a job, you're committing all sorts of crimes. You're committing tax fraud, tax crimes, labor crimes, to say nothing of the immigration laws themselves. You've got you're a criminal. You're breaking dozens of laws. Any one of which would have gotten a citizen of this country arrested and thrown in jail for a considerable period of time. That's not counting all the ones, the vast majority of them, who come over here with the explicit intent. Most of them aren't coming over here so they can get a job washing dishes or picking cabbages, okay? There are some horrific things coming across that border. Drug trade, child trafficking, no lie. Just human trafficking, literally, just pouring back and forth. The Democrats don't give a damn about those people. They're perfectly, the Democrat Party is perfectly fine with the idea of Mexican children and teenage girls being sold into sex slavery or being used as drug mules. You know what a drug mule is? It's where they take some, this is not a pretty picture. They use, one of the things they do, they'll tie up a bunch of cocaine or the like into a condom, make the mule swallow them. They'll cross the border, and then when they're at the dealer's place, they'll throw it back up. And if the condom leaks or breaks, pretty much instant death. That's just one of the things they do with their victims. This is obscenely ugly crime that crosses this border, isn't it? It isn't some harmless crime. Oh, she's washing dishes without a license. Give me a break. Okay, they got a new movie coming out. It's called Onward. The new Pixar movie. It's supposed to be coming out in 2020. It's set in a suburban fantasy world. We're two teenage elves. Let's see what they call it here. There's the full description, the text description here, as they put it. I'm not gonna play the trailer, but let Disney work for its money. It's set in a suburban fantasy world. Disney and Pixar's Onward introduces two teenage elf brothers who embark on an extraordinary quest to discover if there is still a little magic left out there. Now, I've seen the trailer, and basically, think the Flintstones, only with elves. and fantasy creatures. You know, they live in a they live in a suburb, and the teen brothers they have a van. They have a scene where the younger brother has to chase off some unicorns that are getting in the trash. They have a house pet dragon, you know, and so on and so forth, you know. So, I'm tempted to play it, but ironically, Disney will sue you if you play one of their commercials without their permission. You know, like talk about shooting yourself in the crotch. Yeah, I gotta agree. I am a little apprehensive, you know. I don't know. Something about it is just meh. Now they've got a new Rambo coming out. Rambo: Last Blood. The guy is 70 years old. I've seen the guy. I've seen pictures of the guy, and you know, in workout clothes. He's built like a brick outhouse. To this day, it's terrifying. I like this here. One guy commenting, why is Apple so obsessed with making very thin things at the expense of power and features? Yeah, my computer doesn't have an HDMI, but at least it's so thin and fragile that typing too hard could split the computer in half. There's another guy who replies, I like his reply, the sooner you acknowledge that Apple is a fashion company and not a technology company, everything else will make sense. Oh, there's an ugly thought here. I like this one. I'll change it up a little. Terrible people, you know, terrible, rotten people, are hoping you will be the bigger person, so there's no consequences to their actions. That's a pretty good summary of the tactic that I've seen used so often. I love how, you know, the Democrats, their entire strategy since they were formed is mudslinging. Racist mudslinging, you know, just every type of mudslinging you can imagine. It's their go-to tactic, and whenever a Republican comes out swinging, they accuse the Republican of dragging down the conversation, you know, dragging down the debate. You know, the old "Mommy, he hit me back" routine. My sister used to pull that crap on me when we were little. We'd be sitting out in the car waiting for Mom and Dad, you know, and of course, Mom and Dad, why did they do that to us? They would go in, I will be just a minute. An hour later, we'd still be sitting out there in the car. Yeah, the windows rolled down, I know, whatever. And of course, a squabble would break out between me and my sister. Sister's 4 years younger than me. And she was an evil little thing. You're still an evil little thing. You know it. She's wife, 3 kids. She's still evil. I don't care. teaches Sunday school. I don't care. She's evil. She's a little sister. She's evil. But anyway, she just, and I would get mad, and then I would say, when Mom gets back, I'm telling, she would do something. I'd say, when Mom gets back, I'm telling, and she would start howling, bawling, crying, and I finally, because she knew if Mom and Dad came back and they saw me sitting there mad and her crying, I would get it, in the chops. She had figured that out, before she was in double digits. This evil, conniving thing. Same routine every time. What is it with people that think that every trip, you have to bring it? No, really, seriously. You're going to bring the kids along, but, keep them in the car like luggage. People who bring their kids cross-country, they'll fly them in an airplane, in a jet. It takes, 4 or 5 hours. Or they'll drive, or better yet, they'll drive them across. We'll all get in an RV, or we'll get in a family car, and we'll just drive there. And I remember reading once about a guy. There was an article how to make a family vacation less painful. The fact that he had to add the qualifier "less painful" tells you a lot about the idea of a family vacation. But he pointed out, there was one guy who wrote, he said, he had, dear old Dad had set his heart on dragging the whole family to see the majestic Grand Canyon. And and they were going to go see the majestic Grand Canyon. And the kids were like, all right, whatever. They were fairly sorta, kinda into it. And then one of the kids saw the map, at one point in the map, they were going to be less than like a 15 to 20 minute detour to go to past Disneyland. I forget whether it was Disneyland, Disney World, it was Disney something. Disneyland, but Disneyland. Anyway, and they got excited, because we could go to Disneyland too, and we could stop and take a couple of days, we could stop there for the day, and Dad got mad. He just put his foot down. No, we're not going to stop at Disneyland. And the younger of the two daughters, he just pouted and cried and said, just sulked the entire ride down. It was supposed to be this big family convoy trip, and they got in the RV and they all rode down there, and just the girl was just sulking and miserable and unhappy, and the dad was getting more stubborn by the nanosecond. We're gonna enjoy this if it kills us. And they get down to the Grand Canyon, drag them out to the scenic view, and show them the vast sweeping vista. And the little girl broke down, just literally burst into tears, and said, "We missed Disneyland for this?" And it was like God finally dropped the clue anvil on his head, on dear old Dad's head. He realized this was supposed to be a vacation for everybody in the family, not just him, not just Mom, and turning it into an ordeal for the children. You're gonna have your kids ask you, "Were we being punished?" And he broke down. He sat down with the family at the hotel later, and everybody looked at the map. You know, they were still traveling. The Grand Canyon was just the first epic stop, right? And they sat down and they started picking out sites that they wanted to see that were on the route. I swear, whenever a father of a family gets behind the wheel of a vehicle, it's like huge chunks of their prefrontal cortex are just scooped out with an ice cream cone. They forget that they have a wife sitting next to them. They forget that they have children in the back, little teeny children with teeny tiny bladders and upset tummies, and who are not having, who are not going to have as much fun with the things that they're not going to be thrilled stopping off at the auto show on the way to wherever they're going, like he will. But no, the man gets behind the wheel, and suddenly everybody's supposed to, just stop having biological functions. And spontaneously be able to, just turn off their boredom and anger and hunger and unhappiness, so that he can make the best time from point A to point B. That's the special thing, We're on a schedule! Pee out the window! They get there and then they spend 15 minutes bragging about how we saved 15 whole minutes by crossing the mountain. The children threw up their internal organs, but who cares? I won. He doesn't care if the rest of the family loses, so long as he wins the imaginary race he's having across country with Mario Andretti. Anyway, jeez. No. If you're not all having fun, you're not having a vacation. Really, seriously, come on, If you're going on vacation, take things into account. You are not the only one in the car. You are not going to get a gold sticker welded to your forehead for getting there in the shortest time possible. What will make you happy is if you all get there feeling happy and comfortable and sane. I hated traveling with my family. I still hate traveling anywhere with my family. I hate going I don't care if it's 5 blocks. I hate going anywhere with any member of my blood kin. I'm not too particularly copacetic about going anywhere with anyone else, unless they're a taxi driver. I don't think they have Uber in this area, come to think of it. But you get my point. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. Let's see here. There's not much here that's happening in the news. Let's see. Ooh, getting a chilly. It's hard to keep, you know. It's I you know, the temperate time, you know, this time of year, it's always a little difficult keeping the, you know, just one temperature. Too hot, you know, too hot, too cold, too hot, too cold, too hot, too cold. Oh my. Oh dear. Just shifting around in the seat. Aye. When the creaks and groans you hear aren't from the chair you're sitting in, you just might be over middle age. Hey, let's see here. What do we got going on? What do we got? Got anybody in channel? We got 2 people in channel. Yay! I'm so excited. I'm so excited I could pee myself. I could pee myself anyway. And just for fun, I'll change the graphic. Okay, we got 2 people. One of them's me. I have no idea why the image is so fuzzy. It's coming through fuzzy on this monitoring channel. It's not much help figuring things out. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? This is just for us now.
Can never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's
I don't know.
You're the right girl,
you know, this music really isn't me, you know. It's not bad, but I don't, you know, it's not terrible, but, you know, it's not bad. But it's not really me. It runs on, and it starts to sound all alike. No dumps on them. You know, but let's see. Let's see, I'm feeling vaguely unsettled about things. I'm not quite sure why. I've got a lot of things I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the IRS to get back to me and say, oh, by the way, you forgot to enclose a check with your tax return. I haven't heard from them yet. I'm trying to remember. I think they usually got back to me in June. First time. Watch me rip it off. I'll admit it, you got me feeling hella loved. Even when it's going down, know that we gon' live it up. Young shot caller, always been a baller. Know that you the one, I can feel it in my heart. Yeah, I won't stop charging me, go and come harder. I can see you and I, way beyond the stars, girl. I can never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right. Okay, let's just. Okay. I'd like to say thank you to Monster Fluff Music for letting me listen to this channel, but it's really not, grooving with me right now. So we'll move on. We'll just go with nature sounds in the background. Okay, let's see. There is a channel you can go to for animated GIFs. It's called Jiffy.com, or rather, well, is it Giphy or Jiffy? I don't care, but it's Giphy. Figure out that spelling if you like. Let's see here. Pick out an animated GIF that will go with. Oh, this'll work. That'll work. That might work. Okay. There we go. I'll find something more, I don't know. Festive? This works, though. This works. Yes. Transparent raining GIF. Singing in the rain. Just singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling. I'm happy again. You know, the guy that did that scene, the singing in the rain thing, in the original movie. He was sick. He was dog sick with a raging fever at the time they filmed it. But he went ahead and did it anyway. Yeah, that's a trooper. You know what I'm saying? Not a very, I don't think it's a particularly wise thing he did. But you got to admire his tenacity. Okay, now the thingamajig is not working correctly. Okay, why is the animated GIF not animated in the stream? This is not making me happy. All right, YouTube, you digital doinks. Look. I'm on one end of the internet, you're on the other. Alright, YouTube? I don't know what toothpaste tube you're squeezing everything through. For crying out loud, this is their fault. This is YouTube's fault, folks. When we get this digital constipation crap, it's YouTube. It's got to be YouTube, and by extension, Google. Somebody is throttling back something. Now, let's see. Popping up a couple of programs. Ow. My arms are feeling better. My joints are feeling better than they were yesterday. Laughing and singing in the rain. I'm sick of being sick. I'm tired of being tired, and I'm fed up with being old. I feel old and fat and tired. I'm constantly going over myself like looking for new bruises or injuries or leakage on my legs. I'm constantly worrying about everything. And people will say, people get all bent out of me for saying what I'm about to say next. Do not misunderstand me what I'm saying here. But I get a little tired of people telling me, "Oh, just turn to Jesus and and pray about all your problems." Praying doesn't make the problems go away. It might help with the worry for a while, but you finish praying, the rent still needs to be paid, and the electric bill still needs to be paid, and the tax man still needs to be paid, and everything else is and the roof is still leaking, you still can't get to the doctor, and it is all those other all those problems are still there. Divine providence might intervene, but Facebook people are pretty much sum up the problem with it is that they're kind of sick of the whole thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers. Well, that's nice. But the starving children in Borneo can't eat thoughts and prayers. And even the Bible says, what good does it do if you go up to a brother and pat him on, you see a brother in want and need, and you go up to him, you pat him on the head, and say, "Bless your heart, be filled," and then go your way. What good have you done? You've given yourself a warm fuzzy, but sometimes all you have to give is, your thoughts and your prayers. That much, you can understand. But the people who talk about thoughts and prayers as if thoughts and prayers actually helped the problem are a commonly acknowledged irritant. There are many people that they say that thoughts and prayers because that's all they can do. I'm not dumping on them. Good night. Ooh, we got a little thunder for real here. Or as my father used to put it, sorry, don't feed the bulldog. All the good intentions and thoughtful sayings in the world. At the end, the rubber's got to meet the road someplace. Somebody has to, actually, pick up the hammer and start working. Thoughts and prayers sort of rates right up there with the visualized world peace bumper sticker. There are people that genuinely believe that if they visualize world peace hard enough, that'll happen spontaneously on its own. World peace is never going to happen until the second coming. For one thing, because it's human nature, we are born to conflict. It's our nature as a species and as a fallen race. Second of all, it's not going to become, it's not, world peace or any sort of peace is not going to come around because some hippie sitting in his yurt, in a lotus position, focused on it for hours on end. No. I just had a visualization of that joke. I just had a visualization of the guy staring for hours at a can of orange juice because it said concentrate. Speaking of which, that was an establishing moment, an establishing strip for Tuber's character. Tuber, the otter in Nip and Tuck. He's basically, he was going to be basically the town drunk. Sucking. He was supposed to be the negative stereotype of the hillbilly, sucking on a jug of moonshine and being next to useless. But I couldn't go with that. Didn't really have anything else to do with him, but then I started seeing a couple of these websites with like shower thoughts, things you think of only when you're standing under the spray getting ready for work, like if a chair, if people's legs were bent, if people's knees bent backwards, how would a chair be shaped? That kind of thing. And I thought these would be great punchlines, but who in Malarkey County would say this sort of thing? And then I thought of Tuber, and I thought, yeah, he'd be a perfect character for that sort of Zen weirdness. It's going to come out that from time to time he actually has good advice. Strange advice, but good advice. It's just a matter of listening long enough to sift through all the weird He's going to be the one that advised. He's going to be the one that gave Tagger the best advice he possibly could get for how to act on a first date. Because he told Tagger that no matter what happens, if somebody farts, it's your fault. He's also going to have given Nip, and this is why Nip and Tuck actually tolerate him being around, because every now and then he comes out with one of these little nuggets of brilliance that they can't dare miss out on. He told both of them how to deal with a certain situation. He said, if you see a man, if you're at a party and you see a man eyeing up your woman, what you do is you walk over to where you're stand next to your girl. Make sure that guy is looking you right in the eye, and then grab her butt cheek. And asked him, "What do you do if?" He said, "If if you're at a party and a girl starts eyeing you up, meet her eye, walk over, stand next to your girlfriend, and grab your girlfriend's butt cheek then. And both times, grin. Smug like." Are getting more and more unsteady. I'm starting to worry. I'm actually getting smoother lines using the mouse. That perturbs me severely. I hope I'm not getting, maybe I'm just getting old. I'm like, am I getting a nerve condition? Is this the first sign of decrepitude and old age? I don't care. 48 is old. It's not the years, it's the miles. For me, 48 is darned old. Because my body seems to be determined to take me out before the age of 50. Patreon. I hope Patreon doesn't screw around again, because if Patreon screws around again and I don't get my money before June 2nd, I'm going to have to cancel the lawnmower guy. And that's going to cause all sorts of problems. Patreon wanted to be service similar to they started trying to edge out PayPal, or rather they're trying to take over a corner niche of the PayPal market. People who make regular donations to websites, or who receive regular donations. Setting up everything for them so that they don't have to set it up themselves. But the problem is that they've gotten, Patreon has gotten discontent. They got a lot of venture capitalists dumping big piles of money on them to start with. And then it's, the venture capitalists aren't happy with, the fact that they're not making huge mondo profits yet. As always, I'm hanging in there. That's all you can do. I don't know what's dragging me down tomorrow. I'm just tired, I guess. Maybe a short show. I'm sort of short on topics tonight. Now, I don't know. I probably shouldn't live stream when I'm tuckered. I get depressed and depressing. Because right now all I want to do is put this stuff down, put this up, and go to bed. Maybe not get up for 2 or 3 days. Trying to think of anything eventful that's coming up. I'm short for ideas on that. Let's see, what's the next holiday coming up? Okay, probably the 4th of July. June has a holiday. Father's Day is in June, isn't it? Is Father's Day in June? Crud. Another holiday I may have missed. How is it that I am 48 years old and I still don't know when all the holidays are? I mean, 48 years. Everybody's going, oh, well, you were a kid most of it, and, you know, you didn't really care about anything except Christmas and your birthday. Well, you know, and Halloween and stuff like that. You know, Easter, candy. But I mean, I've known when Groundhog's Day is. I've known that since forever. I have no trouble remembering that. But I can't seem to remember half the other holidays. More often than not, I'm off by a day or two. Mother's Day, Father's Day, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, President's Day. I have to look up to find out what half of the year most of them are in. It's not good. I'm not even supposed to be senile yet. Knuckles in my right hand are starting to act up. Just sitting like this, I suppose. Or maybe it's psychosomatic, I don't know. I wonder. Maybe I do need sleep. Maybe I just need to take a... Maybe I haven't... I do so little. I'm always so tired. Maybe I just need to stuff myself in bed and stay there. Force myself to stay there for a day or two. Dozed completely off. Okay, let's see. Anybody got a topic they'd like to talk about? Anything they'd like to ask? Anything they'd like to say? Anything they'd like to debate, discuss, work over, think over? Anything? Is this microphone on? Yes, this microphone is on. comics are so well, part of the reason my comics aren't tearing up the landscape is because I update irregularly, to say the least. There was a time when I could crack out 2 or 3 comics in a sitting. I'd have 2 or 3 comics a day popped out. Of course, they look like crap. Just go back in the archives to the first few strips. You see what I'm talking about. But even then, I put all sorts of. And now I've got all sorts of time-saving tools, and it takes me an ordeal of will and strength to get a strip out in one day. I don't know. As to you, but beyond that, beyond my irregular update, there are a lot of comics out there that don't update for weeks at a time or months at a time. Yeah, I know, and they have crazy popularity. I don't know what the story is. I don't know what it is I'm lacking that just lights the fuse under everything. Begin to guess. having trouble staying awake even with... This is not good. I'm really tuckered out. June, the beginning of summer, Father's Day, barbecues, it all ties together. Get my dad Father's Day card. I'm trying to remember that. Do that. When the money comes in, order one at Amazon. Have to go to his place. I really am. Yesterday I was hurting so much I couldn't stay on for too long because of the joints in my arms and back. Everything just started hurting. Now today I'm like somebody let all the air out of my tires. I thought I'd gotten plenty of sleep, but I apparently didn't. Running on empty. Probably why my hands are shaking so much when I try to draw. Feeling a little underrun, run under, underdone, run over, I don't know. Let's see. Big news, any news, no news? I don't know. Can't really think of anything. Can't think of anything at all. Can't think. This is proving a very poor showing today. My apologies to everyone. I pretty much got a new tree growing up on this end of my trailer. Outside the tree, just outside the window. It's not even supposed to be there. Paid a guy to cut it down, and he kept making, and the only thing I got from him was excuses. Oh, I'll come right back around and do it next week. Jackass. Can't find anybody. I just can't find anybody you can rely on. Unless you pay a fortune. Everybody's a crook. That's a depressing feeling I've been left with. Is that everybody who isn't, just everybody's a crook. I've paid people and have them walk off, pay people to mow the lawn, and they never see them again. I've hired people to do errands for me, and they cheat me, and then they rob me. Get away with it because I don't have the energy to what they steal is too little to go to all the trouble of going to the police and then to the courtroom over. Doctors used to go to people's houses when they were needed. What the hell happened to that? When the hell did they become too special to do that? Huh? When did they decide that the sick and the elderly should have to drag themselves to the doctor's door just to get an opinion? Nobody wants to load up, go to the doctor because it could be something trivial. But if they don't, you're expected to gamble. I really am tanked out. I'm sorry. I'm a man who cannot manage his own life. Not really much of a man at all in that regard. Develop disciplined habits early. They last longer if you do. You don't want to be trying and developing a habit, a routine that you stick to when you're in your 30s or 40s. Because by then you've already got all the bad habits you'll ever need. Any good habits you might have in mind aren't going to be able to compete. By the way, here's a tip. I've learned a couple of things baking. Baking of all things. Don't ask me why I'm thinking. Oh, well, I'm thinking of it because I've got a tray of homemade brownies sitting in the kitchen. 1. You can turn a cake mix into brownie mix. Just use 1 less egg and half as much liquid. The mix will be very thick. It'll be closer to cookie dough than to pancake batter, than to cake batter rather. Press it into the pan. Bake it. You got nice thick brownies. Another thing, if you want to make your cake if you want to make cake or brownies extra moist, throw in a box of pudding mix. Vanilla, you're making chocolate brownies, throw in some, chocolate brownies or chocolate. Throw in some pancake. Pardon me, not pancakes. Throw in some pudding mix in the same flavor as the cake, or in a flavor that you think will complement it. Another thing you can do with the cake mix, you make the cake batter, you pour it into the pan, and you take a can of pie filling, blueberry, cherry, whatever, pour it in the middle. Turns it into a cobbler. Don't stir it, just pour it straight in the middle. Okay, I am zoning out. I've only been at this show has only been an hour and a half, but the tank is empty. I'm gonna go ahead and stop early. And probably just eat a brownie and go to bed. Thank you all for tuning in for now. Most people would have an action-packed show with, they would have all the action and everything packed into a half hour. Me, I can meander on for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and the show hasn't really gotten its feet under it yet. I don't know what that says. I'm a bad TV maker, I guess. Well, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. Thank you for tuning in. I think I'm going to be spending a lot of time